Hey, welcome back, podcast friends. Now, in this episode today, I want to talk about 12 health lies that we have been told. And we've been told these health lies for the last 40 to 50 years. And now we have 40 to 50 years worth of data to prove that these were all lies. And it's actually what we were being told was healthy was actually what's causing us to become extremely sick. Now, just so you know, the inspiration that I got for this podcast came from a book by a cardiothoracic surgeon. His name is Philip Ovadia, and the name of his book is Stay Off My Operating Table. And I highly recommend this book. It's a very small, very quick, easy to read book. However, he's a cardiothoracic surgeon, so he's the one who actually is doing the surgeries on all the people who are coming into his operating table because they have been told all these health lies and now they are sick. And he's noticed as he gets in there to start operating on these hearts, how much fat is all around the hearts, as well as the fat around all the other organs. And it started making him wonder what was going on. And his health also has been going downhill for a long time. So in his efforts to cure himself, he's realized why all his patients are coming in with this fat around the hearts and with, aneurysms in the aorta and all these things. And he went through the same process that I did, that once we realized what was going on and we went out and started researching it, and we found out there is a ton of nutrition science information out there that totally debunks all these lies that we've been told for the last 40 to 50 years. It's just very hard to get this information out to everybody because we are being opposed by people with mega dollars who want to keep you sick. And that is, and I'll talk about them again, but that's the manufactured food industry that makes all your box, bottle, bag, canned stuff. They're killing us. And along with that comes the big agriculture, that mainly the ones that supply corn, wheat, and soy, because that all goes to the food manufacturers as well. And then the sugar industry, because all their sugar goes to the manufacturing industry also, and the chemical industry, because all their chemicals go to the food industry. So this food industry with all these other industries really want to keep you sick. And we'll talk about that. And then riding on their coattails is the pharmaceutical industry, because they also are making a killing, literally, off all the sick people that with all the money. So anyway, that's where we're going. But I'm going to talk about the 12 myths. But mainly, I want you to realize what metabolic health means, because that's what this is talking about. Metabolic health, all that means is when you eat food, what does your food do with the stuff that you eat? And if you're eating good, healthy meat with animal fat, if you're eating that all the time, you will be very healthy. When you start incorporating carbohydrates, and there's all my podcasts talk about this, so I'm not going to go deep into this, but when you eat all these carbohydrates, that makes your insulin, all carbohydrates, which means all plant-based foods, anything that did not come from an animal, all that has a basic building block of sugar. You increase your sugar, and that increase your insulin, and that's what starts all this cascade of all this ill health. So that's what metabolic health is. It means, how does your body take the nutrients, take the food that you eat, and get the nutrients that it needs, which is amino acids, which is the basic building block of protein, fatty acids, which is the basic building block of fat. Okay, so you need fat, you need meat. Okay, or you can get some of your amino acids from plants also, but not very many. You got to be careful, because the more plants you eat, the more carbohydrates, more glucose you're putting into your body also, depending on which vegetables. And I've talked about that in past podcasts also. So it needs amino acids from protein, fatty acids from fat, and vitamins and minerals. That's what your body is looking for when you eat. If you do not give it those nutrients, it's going to keep you hungry, because it's saying, I want these nutrients. But besides that, it goes even further to what we've been lied to about. So poor metabolic health. When you give your body poison instead of nutrients, which is exactly what you're doing with man-made food, because the ultra-processed grains are poison, the sugar and high fructose corn syrup, that's poison, and all the vegetable and seed oils, those are poison. There is nothing healthy in any of that stuff, and that's why we have this horrible condition that we have now, where everybody is metabolically unhealthy. So what does this lead to when you eat that kind of food? And remember, drug companies, all they do is they're treating symptoms. They don't they don't try to treat the underlying cause because they can't. You cannot treat the underlying cause with medications. It's all what you eat. And if you don't control what you eat, you're going to end up with multiple medical or health issues like type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, heart disease, fatty liver disease, gallstones, polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS, one of the major reasons why a lot of women can't get pregnant now, erectile dysfunction, another big reason why people can't get pregnant right now, obstructive sleep apnea. We're seeing so much more sleep apnea than we've ever seen in the past. Gout, Alzheimer's. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And all these have the same base issue. The same base issue that's caused in all of these are the three pillars of disease that I call, and that is keeping your insulin level high too long so you get insulin resistance, putting all these chemicals in your body that causes inflammation, and then last is high blood glucose. So when you have all this inflammation and you're keeping your insulin levels high for long periods of time, we're talking like 10, 20 years of just continuously eating plant-based foods that keep your insulin levels high. That's what's causing this. And when your insulin levels are high and inflammation is high in your body, the natural next thing to happen is now you can't handle glucose and your blood glucose goes high. And those three things start damaging all your organs. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So what are the benefits of a healthy style? If you eat healthy, you're going to have a lot more energy. You're going to find mental clarity. You're going to be able to think a lot more clear. You're not going to have those feelings of being bloated. You're no longer going to have medications. Medications do not, if you're on medications, you're not healthy, just so you know. It also helps you become very decisive. You're a lot clearer, you're a lot quicker on your thinking when you have good nutrition. You look good, you feel great. You have fewer hormonal swings because that also affects all of our hormones. So it gives you more of a stable mood. There's no more fighting about whether you're going to diet or whether you're not diet or if somebody else is going to be dieting with you. You get a lot more respect because when you go on a diet and then fall, then go off a diet and fall, nobody's going to respect you and you're not going to respect yourself. That's the main thing. So quit just dieting. You should never diet. Diets don't fix anything. You have to change your overall nutrition. It's a lifestyle change. So, and then obviously the other, positive side effect is you lose weight. Okay. When you eat healthy, you will lose weight because when you eat healthy, you are going to eat the fat out of your fat cells for your energy source, like God made us to do, and quit using glucose. Glucose is only for fight or flight. And again, I know I went through this really quickly, but this is just a summary of everything I talk about in all these podcasts. So, and this isn't our parents' fault either. The parents are doing exactly what they were told to do. They were being told by the USDA, the dietary guidelines were telling them that they should quit eating butter and eat margarine. Horrible, horrible advice. Then they were told that diet soda is better than soda. Okay. Diet soda is better than soda, just like filtered cigarettes are better than regular cigarettes, or like whole grain is better than grains. Yeah, it might be better, but none of it is healthy. It's all extremely horrible for your health. So you've got to just avoid all those things always. Then they also told our parents that we needed to eat low fat milk or no fat, fat-free milk, or fat-free cottage cheese or low fat cottage cheese, low fat Greek yogurt. They were telling everybody eat low fat, no fat, and you need to increase your carbs. And that was the worst advice anybody could ever give. I don't think they realized how horrible that advice was at first. It was just a marketing scheme. They were just trying to get you to eat their food. That's all they were trying to do. But since they've been pushing it so heavily, now there's a lot of money in there and there's a lot of people getting sick because of this. And because of the money, they keep propagating these same things, even though it's well known all through the nutrition sciences that was all horrible, horrible, sickening advice. And obviously, they tell you that you need to make sure that you eat plenty of cereal and grains and rice and pasta. Oh my gosh, this is horrible. I mean, just saying it makes me want to puke. Seriously, what they've been telling us is crazy and it's killing us. So, I want you to, and I also want you to read another thing they keep talking, is there an obesity gene or does everybody have thyroid problems? Oh my gosh. No, there's no such thing as any obesity gene. And the thyroid problems, okay, this is what happens when you have very, very poor nutrition. Okay. Very few. I mean, it's minuscule how many people who are obese actually have thyroid problems. Okay. That's crazy. It is all about the food that we eat. So let's get right onto it. And I'll run through these very quickly because I think they're kind of, in my mind, they're common sense, but I guess it's because I've been reading a lot of nutrition stuff. But I'll go through it. So the 12 deadliest myths. These are the health lies we've been told. Myth number one. Okay. Only obese people are metabolically unhealthy. That is not true. There are thin people that they're thin on the outside, but they're fat on the inside. And that's called TOFI. So just because somebody's thin doesn't mean that they're metabolically healthy. That all has to do with the type of fat cells that each of us have. Some of us have the type of fat cells that do not multiply. We have a fixed number and they stay there. And those are small fat cells. But the problem with that is when you eat all these carbohydrates, all these plant-based foods, they fill those little bitty tiny fat cells up pretty quickly. And so now once they're all full and you keep eating that stuff, it forces the cells, the fat out of your fat cells. It actually forces it out there because your insulin levels are still high. Usually insulin is what forces fat into the fat cells. And that's high insulin. And then low insulin causes you to burn your fat. But in this case, your insulin levels are high because you keep eating this carbohydrates, this glucose-based plant foods. You keep their insulin levels high, so you're forcing your body to store fat, but your fat cells aren't that big, so they can only get so fat before the fat starts leaking out. And when it leaks out, it goes and starts getting stored all around your organs. So even though somebody's thin on the outside, on the inside, when you look at all their organs, you can still see fat around their organs. And that again is what Dr. Philip Ovadia was talking about. Even his patients coming in here with these heart surgeries, they're still, some of them may be thin. And then when he cuts into them and he sees all the fat around their heart, that was what was actually confusing him at that time. But now he knows the same thing that we know. Okay. Myth number two. The other lie that we're being told is that the food pyramid is good for you. I've already talked about that. That is an outright lie. Just so you know, the food pyramid was actually proposed by the sugar industry for marketing for the food companies. And so they went through as a marketing technique, came up with this food pyramid, and then they started telling everybody that this is healthy. This is the dietary guidelines. This is what you're supposed to be doing. It was all a lie. It was all a lie. It was all for marketing. And boy, did it work because their sales have gone up immensely. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the food pyramid, one, it should just be totally wiped out. But if you don't do anything, turn it upside down and take that whole top layer off. All the one that says you should have all the grains and starches and every pastas and all that, that's a lie. You should never put that stuff in your mouth. And then when they say you should have very little, if any, meat, that is a lie. You should have most of your meals, if not all of it, should be based off animal products. That's the way we've lived throughout the years. So anyway, the food pyramid marketing scheme put on by the sugar industry and the marketing and the food companies just to get you to buy their products. It had no scientific background whatsoever. No science has ever been done with this. Actually, science has been done, proving that that was actually wrong. Okay, myth number three. This is the next lie. Well, I just told you, the food pyramid is based off good science. Is based off zero science. All the science shows that the food pyramid is absolutely horrendous. It is not true and it is killing everybody. So do not think that the food pyramid is based off good science. It is not. Okay, lie number four. The food manufacturers want us healthy. They do not. Okay. And I talked all about this in episode 39. Are ultra processed foods unhealthy? And just as a spoiler alert, yes, ultra processed foods are extremely unhealthy for you. What they are good for is the shareholders. In fact, back in 2021, the food companies in 1 year, in 2021, they made around $155 billion. Do not be mistaken. Food companies are not here for your health. They are here for their shareholders. It's a money thing. So, and that's why they're being so successful, because all their food is so unhealthy. All their food is based on chemicals. What kind of chemicals can we give these people so they don't get full? They'll be full for a little bit, but they'll want to come back for more. And then we got to put sugar in there. It's called the bliss point. Just enough sugar to make you crave it and want more. That is how they do their studies. Not their studies, but that's how they make their food. It's all on trying to get you unhealthy, because when you're hungry all the time, that means you're not getting your nutrients. And when you eat sugar all the time, that means you're just becoming more and more obese. Okay. This was horrible stuff. As early as the 1950s, there's research that pointed out that sugar was the main problem. This is back in the 1950s with John Yudkin, and he's been telling everybody that it's sugar, not fat, that's causing all the issues that we have. So we have known about this, but the sugar industry said they hired scientists, quote unquote scientists, to prove that it was dietary fat and not sugar. These were not scientists, or if they were very shady scientists, and they were paid lots and lots of money to lie and say that it was fat and not sugar that's causing all of our obesity. It's absolutely horrendous what they've done. And because of that, the sugar industry made a profit. In 2024, they made a profit of $82.6 billion. And where's all the sugar going to? Our food. Where's that going to? Our bodies, where's that going to? Our bodies are going into the hospital to have surgeries and everything else. And doctors, they have all these medications that do not help anything. Okay. So how did we get this way? The way we got this way is because in all their advertising, they are telling people that this is what the consumer wants. They need to give them sugar because that's what they want. They need to give them pasta because that's what they want. And that is horrible, horrible information, because what they want, if that's true, is killing them. And we're going to find out, and we're finding out that is not what people want. They just want guidelines. They just want somebody to tell me what is healthy. People don't want to be sick. They just don't. They're so confused because of all the horrible publicity, all the advertising that all these companies do. Pharmaceutical companies and food companies, they do massive information or massive marketing to everybody, trying to get them sick and trying to keep them eating their stuff. Okay, so myth number 5. Okay, this is the next lie. Low carb diets are bad for your heart. Oh my gosh, that is the absolute most ignorant thing I've ever heard in my life. Low carb diets are the best thing for your heart. Low carb to no carb diets, that is what's going to keep you healthy. High carbs is what's putting all this fat around these hearts that make Dr. Ovadia write his book, Stay Off My Operating Table. Okay. This is not just me. There are physicians, nurses, dietitians. I mean, there's a huge movement now to let people know how horrible our food system is. Okay. So anyway, so that is a lie. Obviously, low carb diets are the best thing you could be doing for your heart and for your overall health. Myth number 6. 6 is high cholesterol causes heart disease. No. High cholesterol does not cause heart disease. That is another lie that's being perpetuated. And in fact, nobody was looking at cholesterol until the drug companies came up with their statins. Now they have a solution to a problem that was never there. So what do? They invent a problem. So now, since they have these statins, they tell everybody that it's high cholesterol that causes heart disease, which is a lie. So they can sell these toxic statins to everybody for no reason, no positive effects, and multiple negative adverse effects with all these statins. They're horrible. It is not high LDL that causes problems with the heart. And this can be proven because we know that HDLs are the good cholesterol. So if HDLs are good cholesterol and LDLs are bad cholesterol, but really neither one of those are cholesterol. Both of those are just particles. They're a particle made up of a protein and cholesterol and triglycerides on both ends. Both of them are making up the same thing. Just the HDLs have less triglycerides, to where the LDLs have more triglycerides, but it's the same particle. So that's what confused people. How can you say that cholesterol is bad for heart, but in the same breath, you say that increasing your HDL cholesterol is good for the heart? Because cholesterol has nothing to do with it. That's not what causes all this problem. That's also what's causing all the problem with our nutrition and our health. What's causing the problem is the type of food that we eat is totally annihilating our blood vessels. It's tearing up all the inner lining, the endothelial lining, the inside of our blood vessels. The type of food we eat with the sugar, with the inflammation, and with the high insulin levels, all those are tearing up our body. When our body gets torn up, our body also has a way of fixing that. So if you get a tear in your blood vessels, you're going to have a lot of damaged tissue. So the body has to get rid of the damaged tissue. So you get rid of that, and then it has to build new tissue. Well, surprise, surprise, what helps with both of these? Cholesterol. Our body will send that to kind of like put a patch on the wound, kind of. You can think of it this way because that's what it is. So the only reason our LDLs are elevated in cardiovascular disease is because of all the blood vessel damage that you have. So we're sending the LDLs to patch up the damage that this sugar and vegetable and seed oils and the all these processed grains, the damage those are doing. Our cholesterol is doing that. So I've said that before. That's kind of like every single time you see a wreck, you see an ambulance there. So does that mean the ambulance is causing all these wrecks? No, it's not. The wrecks were caused by something else, and the ambulance is there to help. Okay. That's the same thing with the LDLs. This is ludicrous. What's causing cardiovascular disease is like what Dr. Ovadia saw is people that eat all these carbohydrates and they get fat all around their hearts. That's what's causing them. That's what causes the aortic aneurysms. That's what causes all this. I mean, everything that we've been talking about, it's all caused from tearing up these blood vessels because of the high carbohydrates. So again, that's a lie. Okay. High cholesterol does not cause heart disease. High glucose, insulin, and inflammation does. Okay. Now the myth number 7, the next lie: medications are the best treatment for medical issues. No way. If you think you're healthy and you're taking medications, that's like taking out a loan and saying that you are rich. Okay. It makes no sense whatsoever. If you're on a medication, you are unhealthy. Okay. Pretty much. Yeah. You can go and find these outliers of things, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. If you're on medications, then you're not healthy. And the whole key to what I'm trying to tell everybody, what Dr. Ovadia is trying to tell everybody and everybody else, is quitting that food and you will get off medications. All these conditions like rheumatoid arthritis and type 2 diabetes and all these other things that they're telling you is chronic and progressive, and all we're going to do with our medicines is kind of slow down the progression. That's a lie. That is like, if all you do is take medication, that is correct. Most of these diseases are chronic and they're going to keep getting worse and worse and worse because medications only treat the symptoms. It doesn't treat the underlying disease. It's your nutrition that's causing the underlying disease. Change that and you'll get off the medications. But again, now you're getting off medications. So that's going against the pharmaceutical companies and the medical companies. So they're not going to be telling you this because they need your money. Okay. Anyway, and remember, all medications have adverse effects, meaning bad things. They meant to cure one thing, but they screwed up a lot of other things. All medications have that. Okay. When you eat healthy, there are no adverse effects. There are no adverse effects. It's all positive effects because the pharmaceutical companies want you to treat the symptoms because they want you to continue to be on the medication. And if there's an adverse effect, all the better. Now they can give you another medication. So they're cha-ching, cha-ching. You just give them all your money, even though they're the ones who's causing the issue in the first place. So be very, very aware of that. Myth number 8. Okay, diets work if you follow them. No, diets never work because when people think of dieting, what they're thinking about is they're thinking about decreasing calories, has nothing to do with calories. And they also think about exercising. Has nothing to do with exercising. And I've talked about that in the last couple of podcasts. Exercising does not burn your fat. You can never get to your fat stores just by exercising. The only way to burn your fat, out of your cells is to decrease your insulin. When your insulin levels are low, it's going to cause you to burn the fat out of your fat cells. When they're high, it's causing you to store fat in your fat cells. End of story. That's all there is. That's all you need to know. Keep your insulin levels low and you will become healthy. You'll get off medications and you will burn your own fat for your energy source and start feeling great. Okay. And I've talked about that in many of my podcasts. So keep your insulin levels low. How do you do that? Quit putting glucose in your blood. How do you do that? Quit putting carbohydrates in your mouth because all carbohydrates, which means plant-based food, has a building block of glucose. I'm going to say it over and over and over again in all my podcasts because it is true. And I really want people to understand what is killing them, what's putting them on medication, what's making them feel sick. It's nutrition. So anyway, enough of that. Myth 9. Okay. Trying to lose weight by restricting calories always works. To make that true, trying to lose weight by restricting calories never works. This is not a calorie thing. This is also a myth, a lie perpetrated by the food manufacturers and the drug companies because they want you to think that it's your fault. This is your fault. You're obese. You're the one who's eating our food. Okay. You just eat too much of our food. And then they're telling you exercise when you are absolutely wiped out and out of shape. This is horrible. This is crazy. So calories only have to do with glucose. Glucose is the only thing it does. The only thing it does is provide energy. And it's not a very good energy. And you don't have very many stores. Fat provides a lot of energy. And fat also is used for so many things in the body. It's used for thermal regulation, for your temperature. It helps for cushioning. Every single cell in your body, every single cell is made up of fat. It's got a fatty cell membrane. So you have to have fat to regenerate cells, which we're doing all the time. Yes, fats also uses energy. And it's supposed to be our preferred energy. That's why we have fat stores all over our body. But the food companies have made us use glucose for our energy now. And that's why we're getting so sick. So no, this is not a calorie thing. You don't decrease calories. And when you try to do that, you're going to end up being even more obese than you were and more sick than you were. So you do not decrease calories. You totally change the food you eat. Stay away from plant-based food and go to animal-based food. And I've talked about to the chemical level why that is true. So anyway, let me go on. Lie number 10. The best way to burn calories is exercise. Well, I just did that. In episode 119 is running better than walking. I've already talked about that. No, you will never get to your fat stores just by exercising. That has nothing to do with it. Exercising is great. I 100% believe in exercising. It does so many great things for the body. We exercise all the time. However, if you're doing it to lose fat, it's not going to work. That's not how it works. Now, if you do resistance training and build up muscles and you're going to have more energy cells, that's true. That's all correct. As you get more healthy and you start doing more resistance training, meaning lifting heavy things, you will make more muscle cells. But that is so far down the line. That's not how you're going to get it off. That's just going to be another benefit. Once you get your weight off, once you get more energy and you feel like going out and exercising and feel like lifting, that's when you're going to work on that. You don't try to do it until your energy level comes back because your fat has come off because you've been eating correctly. So that is a lie. You do not have to exercise to lose weight. So now the next lie is, this is lie number 11. You cannot improve metabolic health conditions without medications. Oh my gosh. I've already said this. If you are on medications and you think you're healthy, that's just like taking out a loan and thinking you're rich. Medications and health are opposite ends of the spectrum. Okay. And that's why they're pushing so hard to get everybody to believe all these lies. Because when you're healthy, okay, think about this. Think of all the companies that are making a ton of money. Okay. The food manufacturer, which is another lie. Okay, the food manufacturers want us healthy. No, they do not. And we already talked about because they're providing money for the sugar industry, the chemical industry, the big ag industry, pharmaceutical industry, and the big food industry. All of those are making a ton of money off you. They do not want you healthy. Okay, and a medication ain't gonna do it. All these medications do is they treat the symptoms. That's all they do. If you have high blood pressure, put you on a blood pressure med. Or 2, or 3, or 4, because they all work different ways. And we really got to get that blood pressure down. So let's do that. Oh, you have an adverse effect? Let me give you another drug. Oh, got adverse effects of that? Let me give you another drug. Drives me crazy. They will never tell you the root cause. The information's out there, but the physicians are lied to. This isn't about physicians. They are being lied to also. Physicians are being lied to just like we are. They're being lied to from the same companies. And it just so happens a pharmaceutical company, they are the ones who come up with a lot of these dosing guidelines. So now the physicians, they have to stick to these dosing guidelines, even if they don't believe them, because if they don't, now they're not going to get paid. They're not going to get paid by Medicaid, and they're not going to be getting paid by Medicare because they're not going off the dietary guidelines that the pharmaceutical companies are setting. And the pharmaceutical companies come in, they don't just wait till your doctors, they come in through med school, and they have a lot of influence on these med students, even when they're just students and they haven't even gotten out yet. So you do not have to have medication to be healthy. In fact, if you do, you're not being healthy. And there's so many things that go along with this. Remember, medications, all they do, and physicians will tell you this, that when they are telling you this is a chronic disease and it's just going to get progressive, the other way to say that also means that my medications are not going to cure you in any way. My medication is going to make you prolong your disease state. So hopefully you die a little bit later than you may have, but your quality of health is going to be horrible. Horrible. You're going to be obese. You can't breathe. You can't walk upstairs. You're in the hospital all the time. You're getting medications after medications all the time. Always going to the doctor's office. This is not the way you want to live your life. Okay. So, and even things as low testosterone. Everybody's talking about low testosterone now. This is crazy. Okay. Low testosterone is because of your nutrition. That's how you raise your testosterone, is to eat more animal foods and stay away from the plant foods. Your testosterone levels go up. And when this happens, this also is what helps with the PCOS, the polycystic ovarian syndrome, that women have when they get these cysts on their ovaries and keeps them from getting pregnant. When you start eating healthy, that's going to come back down too. So there are healthy, metabolically healthy patients in their 80s that have higher testosterones than these obese 20-year-old males. Okay. And that's been proven. This is great. Obesity, just what causes the obesity is the same thing that's causing low testosterone. So again, just with everything else, you can change this just by eating real food, real animal meat with real animal fat, real fruits, and real vegetables. Stick to the vegetables that grow on top of the ground, not the ones that go under. There's a lot of glucose in the ones that grow underneath the ground. And drink water. Okay. Unsweet coffee, unsweet tea, but just stay away from all the sugar. And that is going to be increased testosterone levels. It's going to take care of your PCOS. It's going to take care of everything. It'll take care of your blood pressure. You'd be amazed. I've had people contact me that had rheumatoid arthritis for 2 years, and they started eating healthy and been on all these medications that just make them sick. They started eating healthy. They're on no rheumatoid. They have no more pain, no more rheumatoid arthritis. They're not on any more pain meds. I've had patients contact me that said their Parkinson's symptoms have gone away since they've started eating healthy. I've had people who have contacted me that have told me that they are off 3 blood pressure medicines, and they're even off an antidysrhythmic, okay, a medication that helps the function of the heart, because once they start eating clear, their heart started beating properly again. So there is so much evidence out there about this being what we are eating, what we're being told to eat is horrible for our health. We've got to quit giving our money to these food industries and sugar industries and chemical industries and ag and pharmaceutical and medical industries. Quit giving your money to them, and you're going to have so much more money to be able to live the life that you want to live. Go on vacations. Eat healthy. When you eat these animal products, you're going to have so much energy, and now you're going to have so much money. You're going to be able to you can go on any kind of vacation or buy whatever you want to. Trust me, you're going to feel great. So, and then the last one, the myth number 12 is that, well, actually, I kind of already hit that. They also tell you that health problems get worse and worse and worse as you age. We've already talked about that. That's a lie. When you eat this kind of stuff, that is correct. As long as you keep eating this stuff, your health is going to get worse and worse and worse. However, it is reversible. Almost everything is reversible, depending on how much damage you've done. Okay. Kidney disease, reversible. Heart disease is reversible. Blood pressure is reversible, as long as you haven't done too much damage to begin with. The fatty liver, all the fat around your organs. When you start eating healthy with animal-based foods, stay away from plant-based foods, unless they're real plants, real fruit, real vegetables, and be careful about all that too, because you don't want to get them from the grocery store. There's more chemicals in that. and all the genetically modified. So if you can get them from a local farmer, you're going to be a lot better. But anyway, I had to say this. It's gone a little bit long, but it absolutely sickens me to see what lies we've been told for decades, and people are still believing them and they're still propagating them, even though they see that every single one of our disease states is getting worse and worse every single year, while food profits and sugar profits and chemical profits and big ag profits and pharmaceutical profits are going out the roof. Okay, all because we are being told lies about our health. So hopefully you'll take this, you'll learn more. There's a ton of people that you can learn this from. This is not just me saying this. This is being mentioned by many, many people now. So please eat healthy, be healthy, and live a wonderful life. You're going to be so much happier for it. So that's all I have for now. So as always, thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for being here, listening to me. And as always, have a fantastic week and make simple, healthy choices to live a quality life.